So we
You
have
have
at
enough.
least 1.2 trillion. Tama ba yung nabasa ko sa dyaryo? Press release po ninyo to. If it is a press release of Secretary Recto, it's infallible. It's ex cathedra.
So in short, we can pay for our obligations for 2024, Mr. Chair.
So is there already a projected cash balance for the end of this year, 2024? The projected cash balance of the National Treasury at the end of this year, since we're already right smack in the last quarter, siguro naman may projected cash balance na tayo at this point.
What the previous finance secretary says in open session, we can provide you the numbers privately.
Privately. So it will be an executive session or will be provided at a later juncture. It's just projected, hindi naman siya absolute.
We will have a positive cash balance.
We'll
Okay.
submit that to you,
Yes. So
Mr. President.
that being the case, may I proceed to another concern? The Bangko Sentral of ng Pilipinas sold 24.95 tons of gold on the first quarter, the first half of this year, according to the World Gold Council. Can we be updated on the total net sales of gold for this year? Given that we have enough money to fund our expenses, did the BSP sell more gold even after the 25 tons almost in the first half? My first query would be that given that inflation for October was recorded at 2.3, well within the desired 2.4 target band of the BSP, rice inflation nevertheless accelerated from 5.7 to 9.6 the previous month, despite the implementation of the lower rice tariffs from 35 to 15% August 2024. So, when will the NEDA board conduct its review of the rice tariff under the comprehensive tariff program for 2024 to 2028? Given that clearly the rice inflation, headline inflation continues at record pace. We're already at 15%, ibabagsak pa natin sa zero po.
They are going to submit to the President within the end of the month the report on the effects of that EO and a recommendation therein.
Okay, we look forward to that. In the meantime, perhaps our economists can explain why rice inflation accelerated instead of decelerated in the previous month. Why so? We were promised the opposite.
Kasi yung October of last year, we had a price cap. It was low. And now it's the price cap. So it's a base effect.
Tumataas talaga pag mag-holidays.
Yung just that October last year.
Wala na po tayong ibabagsak. Nasa 15% na lang po.
Inflation pa lang muli.
Kung yan lang ang tanging solusyon natin, mukhang hindi uubre.
Mr. President, supposedly last year, there was actually a price cap imposed by the
That's
government.
correct. Which also didn't work.
But it was lower than it is now. I mean, the inflation.
Yes, as a result, however, we all know that there was no rice available and traders were holding on to their warehouse supply and all sorts of artificial shortages were occurring throughout the country.
Well, according to the NEDA secretary, the inflation right now is just a blip, and for the rice in particular, and they expect it to go lower.
It's almost double po.
Siya nagpa-promise
Kapitbahay
daw.
ko po yan sa Batak, Ilocos Norte.
Because October 2023,
It's a major blip po, halos doble.
Kasi
5% namamayagpag sa 9.6.
October 23 daw, sobrang bagsak yung presyo ng rice dahil sa price cap. Ano last year?
Parang hindi yata.
So base effect daw.
Okay, but I don't think that's quite the truth. In the meantime, given that we can't seem to look forward to a better rice prices, nor can we be assured that there are any other solutions aside from artificially set price ceilings and very little wiggle room in 15% tariff rates. The other issue is, how much is the projected tariff loss for the implementation of the lower rice tariff? I think the BOC has released estimates for the revenue loss. And I'd like to hear what those rates are assumed to be. Kasi maliban sa bumagsak na nga yung taripa,
Tumaas
ang
pa yung presyo.
problema, oo, tumaas pa rin ang inflation at sa kabila nun, lugi pa tayo, bagsak din ang koleksyon. Kaya si Secretary Recto hindi matutuwa niyan. Kita natin, ang laki-laki ng binagsak o babagsak ng ating koleksyon ayon sa ating BOC. Magkano kaya ang revenue loss natin?
Magkano?
Anticipated under the new regime of 15%?
For the remaining of the year.
Nasa 16 plus na eh. Ang nabasa ko po sa dyaryo, mula sa 28.477 billion, ang revenue loss natin 16.344 billion, nasa 12.103 billion. Menos pa sa kalahati ito, mukhang 1/3 na lang matitira. Tama ba to? Di wala na tayong pamumudnot sa ating mga magsasaka. Hindi na nga nila mabenta, wala pa silang maaasahang tulong.
So we lose about 20 billion, 10 billion for the first 6 months,
For the first 6 months.
9 billion for the first 6 months.
9B, first
Yeah.
6 months,
There's about 20 people.
For a year, it's about 20 billion.
20 billion. It's getting bigger and bigger po. Nag-umpisa tayo sa 15B, nasa 16 and a half nung nakaraan. Ngayon na 20 billion na. Palaki ng palaki po to. So, ang balita ko, nangako naman si Secretary Recto na ipapasok sa GAA at yung kakulangan, siya na ang magpupuno. Tama po ba? Saan kukunin yan? Kasi parang palipat-lipat lang tayo ng pera nito. So, is the consideration therefore, hindi umuubra yung rice tariff reduction. Pag tuloy-tuloy pa to at hindi bumabagsak ang presyo ng bigas, ang ibig sabihin ba yung ating economic managers ay itataas na naman ang taripa sa 35% to cover the projected revenue loss? Kasi hindi naman pwedeng gaan ng gaay ang pupuno sa 20 billion na kulang.
What witness that prices to put down the price manipulation. Nevertheless, part of the plan is to talk to the traders, sure that they pass on the value.
Well, I guess the major plan is you need to talk to the traders to make sure that they pass on the benefits.
Ang mahirap po, alam naman ng mga taga-Vietnam, taga-India at sa kung saan-saan na nangangailangan tayo ng bigas. Kaya nagtataas din sila ng presyo. Sinasamantala tayo. Nakikita natin, pinapayaman natin yung mga magsasaka sa ibang bansa. Samantalang kinakawawa yung magsasakang Pilipino. Tama po ba to? Hindi ba ikukonsidera ng ating mga economic managers na itaas na muli sa 35% at mapuno yung projected revenue loss?
Part of the plan is what the things to be done.
Part of the plan is also to encourage and to increase more production.
Parang hindi naman realidad yan. Nakita naman natin sunod-sunod ng bagyo, hindi pa tapos yung alphabet po. Marami pang letra. At tigit sa lahat, nakita natin ang presyo ng abono, ang presyo ng crudo, nagsisitaasan, double whammy po. Palagay ko, kinakailangan siguro mag-isip tayo kung ano pa yung plano. Kasi itong mga planong to, itong artificial price ceilings, pagkatapos itong mga taripa na wala nang ibababa, parang hindi nagwo-work. Kailangan siguro mag-isip pa. So, yun lang yung tanong ko. Sana may magandang balita, pero wala pa akong naririnig. In the meantime, can we be updated on the computed cash balance of the National Treasury? Can you verify that we ended, in fact, the year 2023 with the balance of 787.1 billion? Tama ba yung aking numero? Oh, I think you're adjusting for borrowing. So are we reading the same numbers po? Nakaka-nervous po to. Hindi natin alam kung magkano yung pera natin. Kinakabahan ako, ba't natatagalan? Dapat simpleng-simpleng tanong yun. As of
About
end
700.
2023.
Yeah, more or less you are correct, Mr. Chair. About 700 Plus
Yes, 787.1 billion with a net change in cash position of 505.8 billion brought about by a borrowing of 1.875 trillion against a deficit of 970.2 billion. Is it safe to assume that the Treasury still has at least 1.2 trillion to fund the rest of 2024? Parang tama yun, di ba? Arithmetic lang po. So we have enough 1.2 trillion. Tama ba yung nabasa ko sa dyaryo? Press release po ninyo to. If it is a press release of Secretary Recto, it's infallible. It's ex cathedra.
So in short, we can pay for our obligations for 2024, Mr. Chair.
So is there already a projected cash balance for the end of this year, 2024? The projected cash balance of the National Treasury at the end of this year, since we're already right smack in the last quarter, siguro naman may projected cash balance na tayo at this point.
What the previous finance secretary says in open session, we can provide you the numbers privately.
Privately. So it will be an executive session or will be provided at a later juncture. It's just projected, hindi naman siya absolute.
We will have a positive cash balance.
We'll
Okay.
submit that to you,
Yes. So
Mr. President.
that being the case, may I proceed to another concern? The Bangko Sentral of ng Pilipinas sold 24.95 tons of gold in the first quarter, the first half of this year, according to the World Gold Council. Can we be updated on the total net sales of gold for this year? Given that we have enough money to fund our expenses, did the BSP sell more gold even after the 25 tons almost in the first half? How much gold have you actually sold?
First we buying. So far the total
Yes,
as of July 2024 lang po, di ba? Ano to? 16 billion?
Abala ang marami po sa atin, sa ating mga mamayan, pati ating mga bankero, pagkat ang ibang bansa bumibili ng ginto, bakit daw tayo biglang nagbabagsak at nagbebenta ng ginto? Eh samantalang sinabi po ninyo, sapat naman ang ating pera, bakit ba tayo nagbebenta ng katakot-takot?
16 15 billion. 16 billion. 15 billion, 733 million, 495,000 hours. Okay. Tapos, yan yung binili natin. Oo. So far, Mr. Chair, for July 2024, 16 billion, 733 yung binili natin worth of gold. Ngayon, magkano yung binenta natin?
Yes, we're aware Republic Act 7076 mandates all small miners to sell their gold first to the BSP. That's established by law. So we are saying that in terms of value, 16 billion was bought mid-year. In terms of weight, how much weight, how many tons of gold did we buy from local small and other local miners?
In terms of weight daw. Yung weight nitong 16 billion. Anong weight niya? Magkano ba yung price ng gold ngayon? Tapos i-divide na lang. Per kilo? Per ounce?
Sige po, baka naman kailangan hanapin. Total, nasagot na rin in terms of value, nasa 16 billion. Later on, you can probably tell us in terms of weight. Ano?
Okay, we're computing that based on the amount released so
Tama.
far.
Sige po, but there's also been a question about the price at which we are buying gold. Marami rin nagtatanong dyan.
2,000 something per ounce?
Well, that's the world rate. The US dollar rate is at 2,754.
But we need to ask how much did we
But how
spend?
much did we buy from the local miners? Can we go back to the first question? How much did we sell? What's our total net sales for this year so far?